Hello everyone, myself Dr. Mrs. Soni Chaturvedi, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Pridarshini College of Engineering, Nagpur. I am associated with the institute for past 27 years. I am here before you to brief you about artificial neural network, which is very much hot topic nowadays under the area of artificial intelligence. These will be the contents which I'm going to explain. Before we start with complete presentation, let me introduce you what is artificial neural network. Just like our biological nervous system, it's a kind of information processing, uh, just similar to the brain process information. Basically, it is composed of large number of highly interconnected processing elements or neurons working together to solve a specific problem. What is learning in artificial neural network? Basically, to learn means to adapt the change in itself and as and when there is change in the environment. So ANN, in short, artificial neural network is called as ANN. It is a complex system which we can say that it is a complex adaptive system which changes its internal structure based on the information passing through it. It is very important. Being a complex adaptive system, learning in ANN means that a processing unit is capable of changing its input as well as output behavior due to the change in the environment. The importance of learning in ANN increases because of the fixed activation function as well as the input and output vector when a particular network is constructed. Now, to change the input or output behavior, we must need or we must require to adjust the weights. Hence, the particular diagram will give you an idea about general model of ANN, which is inspired by biological neuron. Single unit is also called as perceptron. In short, a single layer neural network is known as a perceptron, which is providing single output. So now here you can see that you have number of inputs like x1, x2, x3 up to xn with synaptic weights, namely W0, W1 up to Wn. And then we have single output, which is provided by activation function, which also has a bias weight denoted by small b. So this complete activation function will help you in adapting the changes at the input as well as at the output level. Okay, so this activation function is b plus x0 multiplied by w0 plus x1 multiplied by w1 and so on so forth up to xn wn. Next, for a single observation, this is what I explained you just now. For a single observation, we have innumerable number of inputs, but single output, and these input represent various independent variables. Every input is multiplied by synapses or called as synaptic weights, namely W0, W1 as explained you. Weight shows the strength of a particular node. The B is the bias value which permits you to shift the activation function up or down, or these products are summed fed to the activation function to generate a result, and this result will be obtained as the output. So mathematically we can denote it as you can see x1 dot w1 plus x2 dot w2. These are product terms. Uh, and so on and so forth. So it is also denoted by summation of xi dot wi. So the activation function is denoted as phi of summation of xi dot wi. The activation function actually basically a unit step function, which is denoted by a function fx being 0 if 0 is greater than x, and it is 1 if x is greater than or equal to 0. It decides whether the neuron should be activated or not by calculating the weighted sum and further adding the bias to it. The motive is to introduce non-linearity into the output of the neuron. This is a simple example which will explain you how these neural networks is helpful for uh, finding the categorized output. For example, you have number of pixels in the range of 1 to 4 input layers. Every input will have a different input layer with input variables as x1, x2, x3, x4. And when you have these weights as 0.25 for each of the input layer, this S is the activation function. This S is greater than minus 0.1. It will be working as threshold value. When S is greater than minus 0.1, it will be plus 1. It is denoted by the category bright, while if as otherwise, it will denote you the dark side of the category. So S is, as discussed in the previous slide, it is 0.25 into x1 plus 0.25 into x2 plus 0.25 into x3 plus 0.25 into x4. So when we achieve a threshold level, we can decide upon, or we can classify the output where exactly the result is lying in which category. Cost function. In machine learning, cost functions are used to estimate how badly models are performing. Means you have some expected value and you are getting a different value. So this cost function decides upon whether your simulation is up to the mark or not. Okay, it is a measure of how wrong the model is in terms of its ability to estimate the relationship between input values and output values, like x and y. It is expressed as difference or distance between the predicted value or the actual value. There are mainly four types of artificial neural network: feed forward neural network, radial basis, recurrent neural network, convolutional neural network. Uh, Radial basis function neural network. This video comprises of details of each model. As you can see, I'll not go much into detail of these four types. Coming to the applications, the very major area where you can apply this artificial neural network are banking, advertising, healthcare, automotive. It is there everywhere. So to conclude, neural network is a vast subject. Many data scientists solely focus only on neural network techniques. In this session, we practice the introductory concepts only. It has much more advanced techniques. These algorithms are very much calculation incentive. They require highly efficient computing machines. Currently, there is a lot of exciting research going on around neural networks. After gathering sufficient knowledge in this basic session, I hope you will be able to explore more reinforced learning, deep learning, etc. Thank you, and these are my details for your reference. Thank you.